And want to just tell everybody we're very pleased to be bringing you each week, this week in the USHL, and have another program next week. And really concurrent with the USHL taking a little bit of a breather in their schedule. We're talking to our guests here tonight about having that opportunity to spend some time with families, and for a lot of these players, a chance to go home or closer to home for the holidays. We will be taking a couple of weeks off for this week in the USHL, the week immediately prior to Christmas following on the weekend, and New Year's, and then be back at it for the week of January 5th, the following week, when we'll be back at it, and look to be back with you on This Week in the USHL all the way through the duration of the season, all the way to playoff action in the spring on the program. So don't go away, and stay with us, and enjoy getting to know the USHL better. College recruiters certainly know the USHL very well. Anybody who follows college hockey knows that has become the absolute epicenter of recruiting future Division I college hockey talent. College recruiters make their way to the USHL in great numbers. And speaking of college hockey, I guess that's known as a segue, and we'll now go to our USHL alumni segment this week. And on the line we have Andy Miele from the Miami RedHawks. Andy, give his background in the USHL, extensive. Played 3 years the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders during the 05-06 season. Followed that up for 2 years with the Chicago Steel from 06 to 08. He's a native of the Detroit suburb of Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan. And his USHL numbers, I got to embarrass him before we get him on the line, 139 career games, 125 career USHL points. And those are huge numbers to put up in such a competitive league. He had 41 points through 29 USHL games before joining Miami at the midpoint of the 2007-2008 campaign. One of his Miami teammates, Will Weber, I guess he just can't get rid of that guy. He played with him for the Chicago Steel, and now he's right there in Oxford with him. And I want to welcome Andy to the program. Of course, Andy, I got to issue the disclaimer that I've been the voice of BU hockey, so please don't hang up.
All right, I won't.
Okay. Could be worse. I could have said the voice of BC hockey, and then you probably would have lost my phone number.
Yeah, exactly.
Believe me,
two more wins than BU on us.
Exactly, and as far as what happened with BC, believe me, you had a lot of fans at both ends. You had a lot of fans at the lower end of Commonwealth Avenue last year that were rooting for you. So if you,
I bet.
Exactly, it's a bitter rivalry. Believe me, Andy. And,
I believe it.
Well, you just came through a little one of yourself there with Miami. You've had some key matchups recently, and a real battle going on in the CCHA at the top of the standings with the usual suspects gathered with your RedHawks, the Michigan Wolverines, who you've had such a heated rivalry with, and also here come the Fighting Irish with what they've done the last several years. You've really been right in the middle of it with some tremendous Miami teams, and seem like you guys are always going to be, establish yourselves now as a team that's a perennial contender, which is great for any program.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to have our name up there with teams like Michigan and Notre Dame. They have a great history there, and we're trying to build a history that they've had.
Well, right now you're ranked second in the nation in points, and you're really kind of a battle going on with you and Carter Camper back and forth. It kind of reminds me of when Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush were around, vying for the Heisman. You guys are right in the mix and already being whispered and talked about for the Hobie Baker. Must be great to have that kind of internal competition. And I got to ask you, with 15 of your teammates, USHL alums, did you know Carter Camper from his time with the Lincoln Stars? Did you guys probably competed against each other?
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually played against Carter since, I don't even remember how long, probably since we were like 12 years old. So we've been going against each other our whole lives pretty much. I remember growing up, it's always going to Cleveland, you're playing Carter Camper, you gotta be ready to go this weekend. So it's been a little rivalry we've had our whole lives, but now it's a good one. I love playing with him. I love watching him play. I've learned a lot just from watching him play. He's a great player. He's very smart with the puck, and he can really bury the puck.
Leading the country in assists with 23. Your 8 goals, a third on the team, and remarkably consistent this season. Right now you have an 8-game point streak, but your consistency has really shown over the course of what is really a long college hockey season. But overall, your RedHawks have got off to a solid start and put yourselves right back in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that I wanted to improve on this year was my consistency on the ice and in games and in practice, and it's really helped me on the ice for games. And our team, we haven't been off to the start we were expecting at the beginning of the season, but we're still happy with what's happened, and we're hoping to improve come the second half of the year.
Well, you've had also a couple of individual honors at 9 points in a series with Northern Michigan. You were the CCHA Offensive Player of the Week. You were the Inch National Player of the Week for that weekend, and also have busted in the 100-point club at the University of Miami, now with 119 career points. And it must be exciting for you to be right in the middle of not really a renaissance, but just a tremendous exponential success with that program with Enrico Blasi and what he's done. And you really have developed, just to talk a little bit about what that Miami hockey is really becoming synonymous with excellence now, and the fact that you've really been right there on the ground floor as a big part of it. That's got to be something. That's something I'm sure that you're going to take with you for many, many years wherever you go in your hockey career.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What Coach Blasi and the whole coaching staff has built here has been unbelievable. It's the brotherhood. It's something that we live by every day.
Right.
And it makes us better players on the ice and better people off the ice, especially in the classroom too. But what he's building here is something that's going to continue on for several years, and to be part of the base for that is a great experience.
Oh, indeed. And you were second-team All-CCHA honored last season. You're now back, and as part of the Brotherhood, an assistant captain at the University of at Miami University. And one of the things that's come up with a number of the interviews that we've done on This Week in the USHL is the number of captains that come from the USHL. There really is a culture of leadership that comes from playing in the USHL. And just to talk a little bit about your experience in the USHL and how that's not only made you an outstanding Division I hockey player, but an individual who's looked on as a leader and now has the A on the sweater to prove it.
Well, yeah, they demand a lot out of you in the USHL. You go there young and you're expected to do a lot. You live with a random family, and you grow up. You become a man in that league, and that's something that really carries over into college. My second year in Cedar Rapids, before I got traded, I had a letter. Coach Carlson there was a very good coach. He expected a lot from you. And then I went over to Chicago, and it was a little bit different. It was a little bit more in the player's hands, so instead of the coach's hands. So it developed you differently that way, where you were in more control of the team. Coach Pops really expected a lot out of his second-year players and captains to take control of the team and lead the way.
Well, I actually talked to Coach Carlson last week, and his program is one that's been right at the forefront of producing captains. Just had an incredible knack, and obviously the proof is the guys that have come through that system not only produce great players, but seems that he's produced so many great leaders, and you right there among them, Andy. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Tommy Wingles is first player that comes to my mind. He was our captain last year. He was there in Cedar Rapids for a year, and he did a great job here. I mean, he was the only one wearing a letter, which is very difficult for a junior forward. He did a great job here, and I'm sure he would give a lot of his credit to Mark Carlson. And when I was in Cedar Rapids, Jordan Petrus was our captain, and he did an unbelievable job there. And anyone I can think of that's worn a letter coming out of Cedar Rapids has gone on and did really well with their careers so far and led their teams through some victories too. Oh, indeed. It's no coincidence that those are the guys, those are the go-to guys, the guys that are looked to in clutch situations. And when it comes to the sport of ice hockey, those are the guys that get the letters on the jerseys. And, Andy, just wrapping up with you here, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. And that point streak will now carry over. You got some time off, some well-earned rest before you have a chance to get the suntan lotion out. You guys played down in the Florida College Classic, and pretty good matchup on December 29th. You'll play the University of Maine in the first round, and then have a match with either St. Cloud or Cornell to see how it goes. And that sounds like it's going to be, as it always is, a top-notch tournament to look forward to, and maybe not a bad thing to shake the winter doldrums a little bit and get to a little bit of sun for a couple of days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're real excited about that. We've been talking about maybe wearing Hawaiian shirts to the game, so we'll see how that goes. But we're excited to get down there. We have some family down there. My grandparents live in Naples, which is about 15 minutes away. We're excited to get there. We're getting there a day early, so maybe we'll get some sun on our skin. We're a little pale here down in Oxford, but we're excited. We're also real excited to play Maine.
Yes.
It's going to be huge for our pairwise rankings, and they're a great team, and we're always up for a good battle.
I know I'm talking to a senior when he says the game will be huge for the pairwise rankings. You've been around the block a little bit. That shows.
Exactly, I have.
Spoken like a true captain. Andy, thanks very much. Thanks very much for joining us. Want to wish you the best of your holiday season and good luck in your Christmas tournament and the rest of the way. And I suspect we'll probably be talking to you again. And you filled the role very nicely in our USHL alumni segment here this week.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Andy Miele, our guest in our USHL alumni segment here on This Week in the USHL.